トレードデッドラインから2週間が経過。トレードでは買い手に回りながらも、トレードデッドライン以降は負けを重ね苦戦しているエンゼルス。買い手や売り手に回った各チームの状況と成功したチーム。エンゼルスのように苦労しているチームはどこなのか、インターネット番組で解説されていました。
We're hitting the middle of August. Time to check in on all those clubs who decided to stay in the fight. The teams that decided to go for it at the trade deadline. We have some sobering news. Let's do a little digging in. You know, it's easy to look at the Mets this weekend and take in that disaster with scorn and pity, but you know what? The Mets knew they didn't have it. Whatever it is, they had it last year. They did not have it this year. They got out in a big way. And since trading away Scherzer, Verlander, Robertson, Pham, the Mets have gone 3-10, including the embarrassing wipeout this weekend at the hands of their once arch-rival Braves. The Mets are resetting and paying the price up front. Better that, though, than staying in, missing a playoff spot by adding assets and weakening your future clubs. I'm on the record admiring teams who go for it. I got to put that up front. As of the trade deadline, there were 2 months of the season left, about 55 games. But the early returns for most of those gung-ho clubs staying in it, not good. Since July 28th, that's the point teams that went into the weekend before the trade deadline, several days away, the basic, most realistic point when you had to decide, are you in or are you out? Only 2 of the main 10 teams that had to make that choice have winning records since that time. The Mariners, who have gone 11-4, they're a game and a half out of the final playoff spot. Seattle did trade their closer, Paul Sewald, but they weren't punting. They were just thinking. And the Cubs have gone 10-6 and are just a half game out of the final wild card. I thought the Cubs should go for it. Their run differential has been solid most all of the year, and they had a shot at the wild card and the NL Central title. But I also like the Angels going for it, and wow, that has not gone well. Since July 28th, that same date, the Angels are 5-11. And the Angels just didn't sit back and play their hand. They used good minor league prospects to get Lucas Giolito, a pair of sluggers, and a couple of relief pitchers. Giolito has had 3 starts with the Angels. He's allowed 15 runs. But Mike Trout is still on the IL. Anthony Rendon is on the IL. Yep. Zach Neto, their rookie shortstop, back on the IL. And Shohei Ohtani has finally taken the load management onto himself, asking to skip a start. But the Angels aren't alone. Here are the records for 7 of these clubs since July 28th. Diamondbacks are 4-11. Angels, 5-11. Again, it's really bad for them. Reds, they look like the team of the future. 6-10 since July 28th. Marlins, 7-9. Marlins went in. They made moves to get better. Still just 7-9, even after that big win yesterday. Red Sox, they basically stayed pat. They're not going in, they're not out, but they're 7-9. And the big boys, this is a problem. The Yankees and the Padres, Yankees are 6-10, even with Aaron Judge back and limping around. And they've got a lot at stake. And this is also number 2 and number 3 in payroll. Padres are 7-8 at this point. Padres, again, Yankees are 5 games out of the final wild card. Padres are 5.5 out of the final wild card. We all keep waiting for that Padres run, right? And it has not happened. Not with Juan Soto hitting, and with Ha-Seong Kim being one of the league leaders in WAR. They added Ji-Man Choi and Rich Hill from the Pirates, Scott Barlow, the reliever from the Royals. They're still 5.5 out, with 4 teams to pass to get a 6 seed in the National League, which, could be good enough. As of now, the top 3 payrolls in the sport are not in playoff position. And this isn't the 50s with 2 teams making the playoffs, or the 70s when 4 teams made it. 12 of 30 teams make the postseason. This is one of the major stories of the year. The big financial push is not working out. But I should say, not working out as of now. A lot of people bring up last year's Phillies, right? Slow start, fired their manager, Joe Girardi. But as of August 13th last year, the Phillies were 13 over 500 and were in wild card position. The Braves 2 years ago are a good example of a comeback team. Got off to a slow start en route to a championship. By August 13th, end of day, they were 3 games over 500, but 6 games out of the final wild card spot and had 4 teams to jump. A lot of people bring up the Nationals in 2019, got off to a 19-31 start, ended up winning the World Series. But by the end of day, August 13th in 2019, the Nats were 64-55. They were solidly in wild card position. So the point is, what am I saying? Most of the comeback teams by mid-August had at least begun their comeback. So perhaps to get some inspiration, let's go back to the 70s. August 13th, 1978, Yankees were 9 games behind the Red Sox in the AL East. And that's a pure 9 games back. No wild card back then, so 9 out of what was then the final playoff spot. The Yankees were at one point 14 games out. They, of course, tied Boston, beat the Red Sox in the famous one-game playoff with Ron Guidry and Bucky Dent. I will say one thing about that, though. The Yankee team, that was 14 games over 500 as of August 13th. Not 2 up like the current Yanks or 6 below like the Padres.
少なくとも8月中旬のこの時点ではワイルドカード圏内に向けて追い上げるために勝利への勢いはつけておく必要があり貯金もある程度は必要となるでしょう。エンゼルスは首位レンジャーズに2連敗し今季最低の借金3、わずかな望みのワイルドカード圏内も見込みは薄いでしょう。ヤンキースとパドレスも同じく難しそうですが、メッツのように思い切ったことをしないと来季以降にも響いてきそうです。去年のフィリーズやマリナーズのように躍進するチームはどこなのでしょうか。ワイルドカード争いも楽しみです。